Welcome back to the Manor. Julian McBain here, and today we are on the migration. And I'm having a good time. I am. Migration has long been like my flagship event. It was the first major event I ever participated in. I learned a lot about it, doing it. I really enjoy doing migrations, so I'm hunting lower level Longtooth because for some reason I can't seem to find like level 14 ones, which are really where I would be hunting. I'm sure that if I took the time, I could probably locate them. If you know where you can I can find some anywhere between level 14 and 17 Longtooth, please drop a comment down below. That would be really appreciated. But there's some stuff I want to talk about tonight because the 4th of July just happened, and it was a good time. So before we get started, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Manor. Please take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Also, please consider going to patreon.com/JulianMcBain if you want to support my work. If you do, you will get exclusive content. In the month of June, I did my only public Patreon video, wherein I did a VR MMO. No, I don't want to attack. God damn it. That one. It's like, yes, I want to hit the one behind me instead of the one I'm literally pointing my gun at. Oh my god. And that's one of my beefs with this engine, and I'm hoping that it gets resolved in Unreal, is that the tab targeting, tab targeting in any game is usually pretty lousy. But tab targeting in this game is horrendous. Like, you'll snap around to something behind you that someone else is attacking rather than the not thing being attacked in front of you. Or, like, if the thing's attacking you, it should default to that. But not if it's leaving you alone. You know what I mean? It's just dumb. But anyway, I'm doing the daily and the other quest. This quest moves very, very slow, as well it should. Particularly at this level, but that's another reason I want to find a higher level one. So yeah, I'm recording this on Monday evening, much later than I normally do. Like, late enough to where I have a glass of scotch in front of me. And I'm really happy because for the first time in a year and a half, no, I'm sorry. Yes, no, this is accurate. For the first time in a year and a half, I got to go to a fencing practice. I have fenced with my son a little bit in the intervening time, and I got to fence with someone that used to be my student just a couple weeks ago. But this was the first actual practice, like organized practice. I got to fight more than one person, and it was a blast. And I also realized I don't have the endurance I used to, and this is because we haven't been fencing in a year and a half, so of course I don't. But it really, like, doing the 40 minutes at the Ren Fair a day just gave me a taste of it, but not enough to where it would really, like, sit in just how much I missed slinging steel. You do it for 2 hours, and you're like, wow, I didn't realize just how much I missed doing this. You know what I mean? Like, and it was to the point where I wanted to keep going, and I knew my body couldn't handle it. It's like, I am going to start being dangerous to myself and others if I continue. So I pulled myself off the field. But I wanted to keep going, because there are few things in life that give me the feeling that I get when I have a sword in my hand. And you may laugh at that, but no, seriously. Like, I've always enjoyed doing martial arts. I like competing in martial arts and judging my ability based off the ability of those I compete against, the ones that I am fighting against. And fencing is one of the rare martial arts where physical strength has zero to do with whether or not you're going to win. I mean, there are a lot of them where it has very little to do with it. A lot of your, like, jujitsus where you can redirect and use your opponent's body weight against them. Oftentimes it takes a lot of learned skill to do that. In fencing, it is strictly skill and speed. Oh dear, we're gonna get in trouble if we don't back the hell off. Follow me. Follow me. I'm probably gonna draw him anyway. Oh Jesus. Oh Christ. I'm gonna end up pulling a lot. That's okay. I've got an LB 35 if I need one. Not what I consider ideal, but it's doable. Like things that give me that sense of fulfillment. Spending time with my son. and let me tell you, very few things match up to fatherhood. They do. And is it always perfect? Of course it's not always perfect. You know, having children will always come with its difficulties, but it is one of the most rewarding things I have ever had the honor of doing. And he fences too. And I really can't wait until he can fence with the adults regular. Like, I'm his dad, so when we're at home, I can fence against him. But in organized practices, I can't. And that's because of safety rules that the organization has. And as it should, because an adult's body is built in a different way from a child's body because it's developed more and it's matured more. And so, for instance, if I gack someone that's an adult, they could get hurt, but they are less likely to be injured in the same way that a child is. Conversely, children are less likely to injure each other. So it's okay if they fence each other. And it's not perfect, you know. You're doing a martial art using a weapon that is the only thing, the only non-explosive. Let me rephrase that. The only personal weapon that was designed with the sole purpose of only killing human beings. That's what a sword is. Now, of course, we take proper safety measures, but think about it. Like, it has no use in farming. Even the flail. The flail was actually designed from a farming implement. You know, if you don't know what a flail is, it's the spiked ball on a chain attached to a stick. That's a flail. That was actually designed off of, I think it was it was like Czech, I think. It was Eastern European, if I remember correctly. Someone fact check me on that. I vaguely recall it being Eastern European. We gotta repair our shit. Uh-oh, we're under attack. I gotta record this real quick. 8:17. Yes. Just give me my sword. Thank you. That was a farming implement. And then the bow was used for hunting. And then, spears could be used to hunt. And even long axes were really just extensions of the spear, right? They took the spear and they're like, oh, what if we combined a spear and an axe? And that's how they got the halberd. So, yeah, there were variations on things that were specifically designed for combat. But the sword was the only one specifically designed for combat. Even firearms. Like, 3 favorite things in the world. Being a dad, being a swordsman, and shooting sports. Right? Fatherhood, swords, and guns. I mean, those are the things that make life worth living, right? And someday I hope to be a husband again. I do. You know, although my marriage did not work out, there's something very fulfilling about being a husband. So we'll chalk that up to number 4, but I'm not filling that role right now, so we're gonna kind of set that one to the side. But even firearms, and I believe. So firearms started as siege weapons. They were cannon, and they tried to bring that down. So it could be assumed that the firearm was originally developed for combat, but at the same time, it was also developed into a hunting tool. So, I guess you could extrapolate that that was one that was originally designed for the purpose of combat and then got repurposed for hunting. But considering they were constantly upgrading the way the bow and arrow worked, I'll call that one zero sum. And if there are any people who are like historians that watch this, please feel free to fact check me on that. Please let me know in the chat, in the comments, because I pride myself on being as historically accurate as possible, but I'm not perfect. And as much as I love the Middle Ages, it is not my area of expertise in history. Like, I spent 12 years of studying almost nothing but World War II. There was a time when I could be considered a subject matter expert on that war for what we had at the time. Now, we have actually learned a lot more about the war and the geopolitical things that were going on, so that a lot of the information I have is dated. And a lot of that was actually laid out in Pat Buchanan's book, Churchill, Hitler, and the Unnecessary War. Because, come to find out, the whole thing could have been fucking avoided. Which I've known for a long time, but for different reasons. Like, I just thought, well, if we hadn't allowed Britain to do this treaty with Germany that kind of fucked Germany over, asshole would not have gotten into power. But that's neither here nor there. That's tangential. But if you are a historian that really or even if you're an amateur historian, right, someone who just really loves the period and the weapons of the period, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe the firearm itself, while originally designed to replace certain siege weapons, really found its own in a ubiquitous weapon, which is why they're so popular today, particularly in America. Although there is a reason behind that, and I discovered this quite oddly on a British YouTuber's site, YouTube channel, and I'm trying to remember what the name of the YouTuber was. I'm going to see if I can't find it real quick. Oh. It appears he goes by the YouTube name Kraut. K-R-A-U-T. So maybe he's German. But he really goes into it. Because I'm as someone who is a part of that culture, like, I have firearms, I carry every day, I carry in most places. Of course, there are places you can't carry, like where I practice that's out of school. Can't have a firearm out of school. There's a good reason you can't have a firearm out of school. Although there is an argument that is made about that, I'm not going to get into it. But come to find out, it was the British that gave us our gun culture. The people I see bitch the most about American gun culture are the British, the non-Americans, that bitch, and they're the ones who gave us the culture. So think about that for a second. Probably because we kicked their asses out. So no shade toward the modern UK. No shade toward the modern UK. I love y'all. I really do. Seriously. No, like, seriously. I have great respect for the royal family. I have great respect for British culture. I am particularly fond of Scotland because that's where a lot of my heritage is from. Let me correct myself. Northern Ireland. There is Ulster Scots in me, but my family moved to Ireland prior to moving to the States from the however the Scots moved into Ireland from Scotland. Anyway, that is not a period of history I'm very well versed in, but no, I'm not casting shade at the UK or anything like that. But there was a time when, you know, King George was a tosser, and the colonists all said, you know what, we're kind of done with you, Your Majesty. They sent him a document a letter, essentially. And they pledged their sacred honor. And they basically said, we are betting our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor on this document. And they sent King George a letter. That was one of the most elegant fuck yous ever written. And now we have the 4th of July. That was a tangent. That was a wicked tangent. But you know what? It was a worthy tangent. That was a worthwhile tangent. Anyway. Swords and guns. I got defense. It was a lot of fun. I gassed really quickly. That kind of bugs me. I am someone who prides himself on on-field endurance. Now, what does that mean? The ability to stay on the field and continue fighting when all others have stopped. In fact, the school I learned to fence in, which is the Black Tiger School, prides itself on on-field endurance. In fact, in order to pass, they give you a test, and you actually have to fight for 10 straight minutes. And so that was a matter of pride for me, is being able to endure long periods of time on the field. And that's an endurance I will get back. I will get that back. I just don't have it back today. And I didn't have it back yesterday when I was on the field. And of course, I record this on Monday. It posts on Wednesday. But for me, that was a terrific 4th of July. It was a busy Sunday, but it was a terrific 4th of July. I will never regret the things I do on a Sunday that make it so busy, because they help fulfill me. And really, they help to give my life meaning. And one of them is slinging steel and sword fighting and getting better at that skill, to the point where I'm actually deciding how I can spend more time training with the sword. Like today, I had a lot of downtime. I did something I haven't done in a long time. I read a book. I read a book on conflict resolution, actually. It was really interesting. Resolving Everyday Conflict by Ken Sand and Kevin Johnson. And the book isn't very long. It's only 120 pages or so. And I chewed through about half of it today. I only spent a couple hours reading it, but I chewed through about half of it today. It's not a very big dimensional book. It was designed for like a small group study, and it does have a lot of religious overtones, so just be aware of that if it's something you decide to read. It is non-secular, but it's a very interesting read, and I like how it goes into how to resolve conflicts in a way. Whoops. Whoa. Hello. Oh, it's shared loot anyway. Fuck it. How sometimes we get stuck on trying to win instead of trying to resolve the problem, right? And I found that very interesting. So I spent most of the day on that, but I was thinking about it. It's like, I am a firm believer in the 10,000 hour rule, right? You know that. I've mentioned it before. How is one to solve a problem or not solve a problem, but how is one supposed to become a master at something if they don't do the work? And so I was trying to decide, what to do with my swordsmanship and try to get better at it, because I've put 10,000 hours into very few things, which is normal, right? There are a few things that we're all very specialized. Things that I am very good at are those I've put 10,000 hours into, and that doesn't mean I'm perfect. It certainly does not mean I'm perfect, but I'm certainly better than I would otherwise be. For instance, I have easily put 10,000 hours into being a parent. I am theoretically a subject matter expert at it, but parenting doesn't come with a manual for a reason. That's something where you need like 10,000 hours worth of work for every 6 months, and that's just not possible. I've put 10,000 hours into learning finance. And that is what I do actively. That is my active job. I work in finance. You all know this. I am very, and there is a certain amount of pride that goes into having that much skill in such a field. And this is something that I've gotten into debates with friends over finance and things that economics, which is directly tied to finance. You without economics, you don't have finance. It is literally the foundation of what creates finance. Because without economics, finance can't exist. And so I have to have a really good foundation in economics, particularly macroeconomics, which a lot of people think is voodoo. I'm not entirely in disagreement with them, but the idea is that, you know, because I am focused on finance, I have to have that groundwork, and so I've put a lot of time into economics. So I'm not perfect at economics, but I'm definitely better than the layman, right? So 10,000 hours into finance, 10,000 hours into being a parent. I used to be really good at grocery. I'm a third-generation grocer. I was a third-generation grocer. It has been so long since I've done it. I would not consider myself to be an expert at it anymore. I was an expert at it. I am no longer an expert at it. My father's a goddamn authority at it. And that's it. I am working on getting there with swords. I am working on getting there with firearms. It's harder with firearms right now because ammunition prices are out of fucking control. Which, or it's more like the supply just isn't there, and the reason why is because you can't buy firearms right now. They're just off the shelves. The number of gun sales in America right now have gone through the roof, and the number of first-time gun buyers that have, first-time gun owners that exist in America they're up like 40%. And so I'm not able to practice as much as I would like to with a firearm because we need to ration our ammunition. Ammunition is a finite resource. Now, I am fortunate enough to have a significant supply, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be frivolous with it. Sword work, on the other hand, does not require ammunition. And this is something that my somewhat prepper father... So I have two dads. I have a father and a stepfather. I have to remember to differentiate them for the purposes of this stream, but in reality, I don't really see a difference. And no, it's divorced family, so there. So anyway, my biological father's a grocer. My stepfather is a trucker and also a bit of a prepper. And actually, that's why we were able to weather 2020 as well as we were. And like, we're not over the top prepper. Like, we're not bunker with ridiculous food and all that. No. We plan ahead. We make sure that we could probably last a few weeks without concern. But we're not like a year. You know what I mean? But anyway, that means we've got ammunition, enough to practice with, but we can't be frivolous. That's the point I'm making. A sword doesn't require ammunition. And this is something that I've taught my son. is that this is why you want to learn to use a sword. One, because it is a skill that requires a skill. Like, you get really dexterous when you're a swordsman. You get really good at it, and you get really confident from the competence you gain from being a swordsperson. And so that's one of the things. Like, I've done mentoring through martial arts, specifically through fencing, and I've had mentees where their confidence has doubled or tripled as they have learned. And I'm hoping to be able to resume that now that the pandemic's over. Okay, it's not completely over, but now that it's on the wane. I'll walk that back. Let me rephrase it. Now that it's on the wane, now that we can start to gather again, I'm hoping to resume that. And I think that out of everything, fencing is one of the best ways to mentor through martial arts. And I absolutely love it. So I'm gonna get my ass out of the zone here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We're on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. And as always, I really appreciate the support, and we will see you in the next one.